Good morning. How y'all doing? This is AL Thick Madame and Cinnamon Sugar, and I am out and about. I already ran one errand, but I had to dry my clothes because no one has come by to redo the wiring leading to the outlet that's messed up for my dryer. So, I got to keep doing this until they send somebody out. Anyway, let me tell y'all about what happened yesterday and today. So I'm gonna save the juicy stuff, so to speak, for last, which is what happened yesterday. So I'm gonna work my way backwards to, the little juicy personal stuff. Okay, y'all. So at work today, I had an alright day today. Um, the most popped off yesterday, but today was okay. Excuse me. I was hot a second ago, so just for reference, a lot of things are happening with me at the same time. It's that time of the month, and I felt it at work. So that's how I know I'm really, really bad off, because I haven't been able to even know that it has been on for the last few months when it has been on, because usually I detox enough, like just enough of the bad stuff out, I guess, or detox long enough to where I don't really experience anything. I was bent over a counter at work in the bathroom, like dying. It was bad. But anyway, I'm okay now. I need to eat, and I'm not gonna eat until after I've gotten back home. I actually have some stuff cooking to get everything started, because everything else is gonna take like no time, so that I can throw it all together. I'm making another casserole that I don't need, because none of it is alkaline. Literally nothing except for the salt that I put on it is alkaline. So it's gonna be I guess if I have to name it something, it's cheesy a cheesy chicken, shrimp, and broccoli casserole, I guess. I don't know. But spicy. That's what I'm gonna say, spicy. Because I have a little bitty small bag of rice that I need to cook, and I'm gonna mix it with a normal kind of rice so that I can get rid of it, and it might cut down on the heat, because it is spicy. And what I put on my stuff is spicy already. It already got its own like little kick because of curry, Jamaican curry to be exact. So yeah. Anyway, y'all, work was all right. The side heifer was supposed to be working with me all day today. So when she came in, she went and found her partner and asked her to switch, because as I already told y'all before, I was gonna be over there in the new department. Excuse me. And the other person that she can't stand, for literally no reason as well, was gonna be over there. So I was wondering if she was gonna tough it out and fake the funk for the people that she's trying to impress, and she was just like, nah, I can't do it. So she ended up switching with her partner. Whatever. I was happy to see her. And she dumb, because we were down for the first 4 hours of the shift. So the first half of the day, you could have done like you always do, which is run around and stand in everybody else's man's face. You could have done that without getting in trouble, because you usually go missing and your area is left unattended. And depending on who you're working with, they don't care nothing about that. So, ain't nobody got time to run your stuff and theirs. So anyway, y'all, let me get a little bit closer. So, I'm tired. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I'm tired. I am. I'm tired. I'm depressed. I'm sad. Hormonal. For obvious reasons. I don't know. But one of the things that happened today was my buddy came back to work today. So coincidentally, he ended up working with the side heifer, because she switched with her partner. So yeah, he ended up texting me. Well, I saw him before he ended up texting me, And so I tried to get his attention, but he was talking to 2 other people. I think he was catching them up on everything that happened before he went out, because they don't do anything like what we do. So they didn't even know what went down until after he had already been out for like a week. So, excuse me. Y'all excuse me. I know I look a fool. I'm sorry. So he was talking to them. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna catch him later on. So I guess because of what I was, you could see from a distance what I'm doing. So it's like he saw me, but he didn't, acknowledge. So I was like, oh, okay. And I wasn't mad, but he figured out where I was. So he rolled up. He was like, hey, what's going on? What's up? Whatever, and all of that. Luckily, I did see him because he helped me to do something, because I was trying to figure out how in the world I'm supposed to do that. I never used that contraption in my life. Anyway, we talked briefly, and he ended up telling me that he walked off like the side heifer do, and is doing whatever it's doing up there. I was like, well, are y'all operational? He was like, yeah. She stayed walking off, and so that's what he did. So I was like, oh, okay. So, excuse me. Later on, he texted me and asked me what was I doing, and I didn't answer because I was, finishing up, tidying up, because I wanted to be all the way ready when we became operational. So even though that was gonna be an hour, 30 minutes after, before, no, basically an hour after I go on my first break, I was cool with that. I was like, well, I just want to give myself time to do everything I'm trying to do, because I was going to be the breaker today. This is my first time being a breaker back there. So it was, I guess because nothing was going on, I didn't walk straight into everything just fully operational. There was no reason for me to feel no type of way, y'all. I don't know why I'm like shaking my leg like I'm nervous. I gotta stop, y'all. My ankle is killing me. Now I'm seeing what my partner was talking about, because I was like, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? Today my ankle hurt. Now, I already told y'all know I'm fat. He's a twig. And for him to be hurting, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Look, they poured the floors and all that stuff. Like, they did all that stuff from scratch. So I don't know what kind of floor that is. And I could move all day long. I guess that's what it is. That's the only thing I can think of that's different, because my ankle, I don't think my ankle's ever hurt at this job before. So anyway, so I ended up going on my break. But before I went on my break, he asked me what was I doing. And it was like 15 till I was gonna go on my break. He was like, she about to leave and go on her break. And so he called me because I didn't text him. I have to be very careful, because I'm just like, I ain't got time to get fired because my phone out and I ain't even doing nothing. Like, they already told us that we can be on our phone for a moment. So it's like, I could check my phone. Like, as long as I'm not living on my phone, they told us they didn't care, but I don't trust them. So anyway, he ended up calling me. And so since I had, access to my Bluetooth, I heard it and I answered the call. He was like, what you doing? And I told him what I was doing. He was like, oh, you got a minute before you go to break? I was like, yeah, because I thought he was going to go to break with me. And he was like, nah, I went earlier. I went before she went. I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, yeah, I'll come up there. Child, I have not climbed them stairs and I don't know how long. I'm tired. I'm tired just thinking about them stairs. So anyway, I went to see him. So he was like, hey, how you doing? I ain't seen you. How long has it been since I've seen you? I was like, I decided to be petty, but tell the truth. I was like, well, it's been like a week and a half, I guess. I don't know. But you had the opportunity to see me, but, my name don't begin with this letter. So, because I was going to link up with him one day when I was going to be near where he told me that he'd be out at all the time. So I was like, oh, well, I'm going to be over there. If you're available, let me know. So he was like, huh? I was like, I don't like when people say that. When I've clearly told you what my intentions are, just say I can't do it, or maybe next time. Say something. And he said, huh? So I was like, child, I ain't got time. So by the time I saw the message, I had already made it back home. I said, never mind. So then he asked me about it. And I told him, I was like, look, my name ain't this person's name. Maybe if my name began with the same letter as what their name begins with, you would treat me a lot differently. Because, you know what I'm saying, you over here, you always be trying to make it seem like, well, I don't really see you like that no more when we are at work. And I'm like, I tried to make accommodations. So it is what it is. But yeah, it is what it is. And I already told him that ain't nothing going down. So he already know that. He already know what it's hitting for. So anyway, he was like, well, I mean, that's fine. I still want to be able to, I still want to be able to see you outside of work sometime. I'm like, well, I mean, it is what it is. And he was like, you know, my kids gonna be with me. I was like, okay. You know, I ain't got no problem with that. They be right there when we be, you know, on the phone together. They be right there looking right at me. The daughter will wave and all this other stuff. So I'm like, I mean, they know what I look like. The son, he 9.5 months, 10 months, finna be a year old soon. So, I mean, he be looking. So, you know, they know about me. So anyway, we were talking and he was like, how are you? And I was like, depressed. Like, I'm trying not to lie no more to people. You ask me how I'm doing. If I'm cool with you, I'm going to say I'm depressed, or I'm going to say I'm good. I'm going to say what actually is going on. You know what I'm saying? How I actually feel. So he was like, depressed? I was like, yeah. So he was like, why are you depressed? I said, I don't know. So he was like, you got to know. Like, it has to be something. I was like, I don't know. He was like, well, I'm going to figure it out. I was like, well, when you figure it out, let me know. So, you know, without me really telling him about my mom or anything like that, he was like, for him, his deduction is, I am fearful of what could happen to my mom. Especially, like, basically, he was comparing it to how everything went with his grandmama, where he was at work and they pulled a plug and all of that. But with my situation, he made it like, I'll be at work and I ended up finding out about something happening to my mama while I'm at work. Now, one time, I don't know if I told y'all about this or not, my ex rolled up on me at work, but in order for them to get to me, they called one of the supervisors from the front where the security desk was. And so she said something about my parents. I was like, wait a minute, my mama? So he lied, basically. My ex lied to get me to come to the front. And then we went outside and talked. But anyway, y'all, I was like, wait a minute, what? So when he got on the phone, I was like, is it my mama? Because, like, why would you come to my job? Like, he don't even leave out the house. He would not even leave out of the house to take me to work or pick me up from work. And we live nowhere from there. In a car, it would take him less than 2 minutes to get there. So I would have to walk up and down hills and all this other stuff to get home. Like, it was great exercise. I tried to look at the positive of it. But a lot of times he would be off work and just be there. And then have an attitude when I get home and all. Like, it was just ignorant stuff. But I'm just saying, he had me thinking something happened to my mama. Like, don't do that. So, yeah, y'all. Anyway, what else? What am I even talking about? I'm so tired, y'all. I don't even know where I'm going. I don't even know what I just said. I ain't gonna lie to you. All I know is I said something about my mama. Anyway, so today, the first 5 hours, we didn't have the side heifer over there. Then the side heifer came over there because the area she was working in became non-operational. And so I'm like, girl, you did all of that just to end right back up over here. Oh, okay. So anyway, I was the breaker. So, you know, she was trying to be petty and not do the stuff she normally do. And I was like, girl, it's my job anyway. So you ain't hurting my feelings. Like, I picked up on what she was doing. And when it became time for her to go on her break, which would have been her last break, she just walked off. You can't even say, okay, I'm going to break. Her partner even would come to me and be like, all right, hey, I'm going to break. That's all you have to say. We don't have to be friends. We don't have to have full-on conversations. But you can at least be respectful enough to say, hey, I'm going to break. Now, if I wasn't looking at her out of the corner of my eye, I wouldn't have known she walked off. But I knew she walked off, so I immediately went right over to where she was and it was doing what I was doing. So anyway, I did what I had to do all day for the rest of the day, and I was good. Tell me why I went on my last break, and a woman who never says, hey, bye, nothing to me, with the exception of maybe less than 5 times when she kind of felt like, dang, she being real happy today about that, hey, let me just say hey back to her. I don't know. She just has a picks and chooses of who she will actually speak to. This woman rolled up and was like, so I had to ask somebody, how long have you worked back here? Because she was under the impression that I had been trained since they first started training us. And I was like, no. She was like, yeah, I had to ask somebody because the way that you communicated today, I was blown away. I couldn't believe it. I was like, first of all, I already was shocked because this woman literally never says, hey, bye, nothing to me. She stays attached at the hip to this woman that works there. Okay? When you see her, you see the other person every single time. 95% of the day to 98% of the day, they are together. Now, because of where they're working, they work together pretty much all day. But before, the other person was upstairs doing the job that I do, and she was working downstairs doing something else. And, it just depended on how soon she could get to her so that she could roll up and be like, all right, I'm ready to go to break. And they would go to breaks at the same time. So anyway, this woman don't never speak, don't never say nothing. She just was like, I just don't understand. Like, the way that you communicated, every day, like, I know y'all probably like, girl, but y'all don't be understanding. Like, for her to even say this, it's a lot. I'm very thrown off. Like, I felt like my soul was like invisible pearl clutching at this point because she don't speak to me. And I mean, I don't take offense, but I just never understood why she do that. Like, the person that she walk with and I always see her with, she takes it upon herself to speak and all that stuff. She's cordial. Even if she two-faced, I don't know if she two-faced or not. Like, some people say she got some stuff with her, and I'm like, well, as long as she don't try me, I don't really care. So anyway, she never speaks. But she went off. Like, she took time out of her break time to be like, I had to ask her, had you been trained formally? Because look at what all the stuff you did, everything you said, the communication was so on point. I just couldn't even believe it because nobody else ever communicates effectively like that. And I was just like, well, to me, it makes sense for me to say the things that I said to y'all, over the radio to alert y'all to what was going on over here because it's everything. If you don't do what you're supposed to do and communicate what's going on, it causes a breakdown. And it don't even make no sense. Like, it's supposed to be it's supposed to move like a well-oiled machine. We already be having enough issues as it is. I be doing the most to keep stuff going. Like, I be going above and beyond. But there are some times that there's nothing that I can do and I have to call maintenance. So I had to call maintenance for somebody else. I had to call maintenance for the side heifer's partner. And I just communicated with them after I talked to maintenance what the situation was and all that or whatever. And so, like, I be doing the simplest things, but they just be like, you don't understand. I just be like, okay. But yeah, she said it off. She really said it off. This girl is doing the most. She gonna flip that truck. I don't understand. What did you fly through this parking lot for? She had to be going at least 60 something. There's no reason. In a grocery store parking lot. Anyway, so I was shocked that happened. Y'all if y'all knew who she was and how she operated, you would be like, she spoke to you. This is how serious it was for me. So right after the situation happened, I was on the internet anyway. So I was like, let me get on IG and reach out to my friend. My friend that I go to that I'm going to be going to all these little events and things with. So I was like, girl, not, the person's name, taking it upon herself to talk to me. Like, we all know that she don't talk to me. Like, my friend has witnessed me say, hey, good morning, how you doing? Like, I will specifically see her for a second by herself and speak to her, and she will just look through me or look the other way. And I'm like, now you know good and well you heard me speak to you, but okay, whatever. But yeah, that was very interesting. So moving on to what happened on, I think this was Wednesday. So Wednesday was my second official day of my new schedule. Okay. So I got a phone call after I got in the house. It was from the now divorced man. Okay. So I'm shocked. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I was not expecting to hear from him. So y'all know it's like he go on hiatus. So I wasn't expecting to hear nothing from him. So he called me. He was like, what you doing? I said, nothing. Just got home. He was like, oh, okay. Like I literally had just walked in the house and sat down, and then my phone started ringing. I was like, oh, okay. So he was like, oh, okay. And so he thought about the day. He was like, oh, your new schedule must have just started. I was like, yeah, because I work on Wednesdays. So I was like, yeah. So he was like, oh, okay then. He asked me how was work going and what all went down, been going down at work. Child, something always going down at work. I told him that I'm working in the new department and all that stuff. And he asked me, how is it? And he sees the people going back and forth from back there. It is ridiculous, y'all. I swear I cannot wait to tell y'all about the foolishness. Once I'm gone, long gone from there, I cannot wait to tell y'all. Because y'all going to be like, wait a minute. Yeah. Y'all are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. So anyway, talking to him, and he starts telling me about his dad. Now, I thought he had an amazing relationship with his father. Turns out things have gone sour, or he has just been trying to save face and just kind of, I guess, looking at it in a way of, okay, this is my daddy. Let me, reach out and talk to my daddy. Let me do this. Let me do that, right? Because this is how close I thought he was his dad. I really thought he was very close to his dad, because when we were working on the same shift, doing the same job, had the same exact schedule, we'll leave out in the mornings. And this was like after we became acquainted, and we realized we had people in common that we knew, his relatives, I know his relatives and all that stuff. So he would make a point to hurry up and get out the building. I would take my time. So as long as it wasn't a day where I was taking 15, 20, and 30 minutes to come out, and I came out like within 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes tops, he'll be in the parking lot, he'll be on the phone with his daddy, and he'll have it like going through the car, just talking on the Bluetooth through the car, right? So he'll pull out of his parking spot when he see me about to cross the street. So I always will stop. And then it's like he just be wanting to watch me walk by anyway. So I'm like, child. So I would cross the street, and then like if with nobody behind him, he would stop in the middle of the street and be talking to me. And so like if something crazy happened at work, we'll talk about that or whatever. So he would be like, hold on, Dad, I gotta talk to my friend. And at times he would actually say my name. I think as it got further along, like time passed by, he was actually telling him my name. Like he done told his daddy about me, which he has. So he'll tell his daddy to hold on, and then he'll talk to me. And it was just a whole thing. Like he used to do the most when it came to that. So I thought that, I'm talking about literally every single morning, he would be on the phone with his daddy. His daddy lives elsewhere. He doesn't live in this state. He lives several hours away. So I didn't know this until he told me the other day. He said, all I knew was that his daddy was coming in town. When he found out that his mom passed away, I thought that his daddy was coming to support him and his brothers, because he has like 2 to 4 brothers, and they all live like somewhere here in Virginia, child. So I was like, dang, that's nice, for him to come and support his sons, despite the fact that he's no longer with the mom. You know what I'm saying? The mama passed away, but the children are there. She gave birth to them. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if she was the one who made him a father by, having babies with him, but I'm just saying. So I thought that he was coming down here to support, emotional support and all this other stuff or whatever. So the dad had been down here at least a week, right? Tell me why the other day he gonna tell me that he bought his daddy a train ticket to come here. And so his daddy called him and was like, hey, so I'm trying to get a ticket back. And he was just asking all kinds of weird stuff. I was like, I don't know. It was crazy. So he was like, man, I'm so sick of them. I was like, what you talking about? So to make a long story short, he basically was like, he don't want nothing else to do with his dad. He's so sick and tired. I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What you talking about? I was like, I thought you had this amazing relationship with your daddy. He was like, man, I'm tired. He was like, man, you just don't know. So basically, he been like faking the funk and trying, but he said his daddy stay trying him. His dad, every time you look up his daddy begging for money, he always, because at one point in time, he was telling me how he was just sending his daddy money. And I was like, oh, okay. But I think that was a cover-up. So kind of find out his daddy stay begging for money and all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So he was like, man, I don't want nothing else to do with him. I don't want nothing else to do with him. He might well lose my number. Hadn't seen his daddy at all since his mama passed away. He hadn't been to his house at all. Nobody brought him by. He didn't ask for him to come get him. Like, no communication at all, except whenever he wants to know some information. Child, to add insult to injury. It's already bad enough that his own daddy is doing the least. His mama had a boyfriend before she passed away, and he doing the most. He over here, I'm just like, I don't understand. Okay, y'all, okay, I gotta take my glasses off. So much stuff happened. Because I was just like, I'm confused. Wait a minute, it's too much. So, his mama didn't have adequate life insurance when she passed away. She had it, but she didn't have it long enough. She had too many ailments going on to not have life insurance for quite some time. And I was like, wait a minute, what you mean? So, it wasn't covered. You didn't got life insurance. The life insurance policy was just established in April. So, it didn't cover nothing. He had to come out of pocket. Now, since she wanted to be cremated, the cremation and all that stuff the money for the service was $3,000. Or the cremation. I don't forgot. Anyway, he shelled out $1,500. His brothers got to come up with the rest. And I'm like, wait a minute, you done came up with half already. He was like, man, I dipped in my savings. And I took that money out for my mama. When I really shouldn't have, because she was grown and she should have had insurance. I got insurance on my own stuff. I was like, well, your mama actually should have had insurance on you too, and herself. And I explained to him how all of us, meaning my parents and my siblings and we are all covered. Anything would happen to us right now, ain't nobody got to worry about no GoFundMe and let me go big and make some plates and sell plates and do stuff like that to gather up money to bury us. Like, that just, it got from being sad to making me mad whenever I see people do that. Because it's like, the people who do it the most in a lot of cases, they be folks who, they had the newest Jordans. They got a PS5 when it first came out. They be leasing these 20, like right now, they got a 2023 vehicle. Like, why? But you ain't got no insurance. Stuff like that irks my soul. So anyway, he went off about that. And so he was like, yeah, she ain't got no insurance. But this is the killer, y'all. This is the kicker/killer. His mama made the boyfriend the beneficiary of whatever she had. And I'm like, wait a minute. He was like, I was not expecting to be the beneficiary. I was expecting one of my brothers. One of his brothers in particular, he just knew that he was going to be the beneficiary. And she made her boyfriend the beneficiary. And I was like, I can't. This is too much. So then the boyfriend, he talking sideways at him. And it's like, bruh. I was like, okay, wait a minute. So is he going to chip in any money to bury his girlfriend? Like, what is we talking about? I'm confused. What is going on here? So he was like, man, I don't even know. I'm so sick and tired of everybody. Like, everybody around me on some foolishness. And so he was like, that's why I like talking to you. Like, you the only person that I can talk to. You the only person I can vent to. Like, I was just like, I'm sorry, because I could have swore that your daddy came down here to provide emotional support for you and your brothers. He said, no. So moving right along to the other problem, the ex-wife. So I just said to myself, I'm not finna pussyfoot around this conversation. I'm not finna wait and figure out nothing. I'm gonna just straight up ask. So I was like, okay, so how did that situation even come about? Because he said something that kind of opened the door for me to just straight up be like, all right, wait a minute. So how, like, did she have a key? Like what? So he was like, nah, she ain't got no key to my house. I was like, oh, because I was trying to figure out why she still got a key. He was like, nah, she still ain't got no key. She ain't got no key to my place. I was like, okay. So, you know what I'm saying? How is she, why is she there? So he was like, you remember when I told you that the living conditions at the grandmama house wasn't up to par and my son with her, so, she was going to be homeless. And, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be nice, but, man, I hate being at my own house. Y'all, it's so bad that he don't buy food at all. He don't buy nothing. He eat when he out, and that's the only time he eat. So he don't stock his refrigerator. He don't put nothing in cabinets. He don't do nothing. And I'm like, yeah, Lee, you done went woof. He was like, yep, I'm not doing nothing. So if she eat, she better go and get her and my son something to eat. And I think he takes the son to go, get food and stuff too. But I'm just saying, for her, he said she got to feed herself. She ain't even supposed to be at the house, all this other stuff. I'm like, Lord. So he made a point to tell me and specify that is his ex-wife and that they are divorced. It is official. And I was like, oh, okay. I was just making sure because I don't know, because you ain't finna roll back up in the house with me. I'm sorry. We ain't together no more. Hand me my child and go on about your business. Now, before his mom passed away, in my mind, I don't know why I thought his son was... Okay, this is where I kept getting confused. When he would say his son was in school, he would express it in a way where it seemed like the ex-wife was taking the child to a daycare. And a lot of people say school when they really mean daycare. And when I tell you everybody around here do that, I just be like, child, where y'all get school from? What are you talking about? I don't know. Anyway, but he actually is in school. So, he was like, no, he in school. I was like, what? Like, he really is in school. So I was like, oh, okay. Because I was like, in my mind, I was like, well, since y'all ain't together no more, how y'all gonna split it? Like, your mama have him for a little while sometimes if you are gonna be working, and a lot of daycare is closed by a certain time. So if she working or something like that, there are arrangements being made between your mama and whoever. This is what I'm thinking in my mind. His mama might be able to carry some of the load, whatever. I didn't know his mama was bad off. I had no idea that his mama was bad off. So, I had no idea that her health was declining. He said he didn't know it was bad like that either. So I'm like, golly, this is a lot. So he was like, no, he's in real school. So I was like, okay, so he's not really worried about stuff like that. But the thing is, like, by the time he get out of school, if it's a day that he works, he don't get to see his son until, he see his son that morning. Well, wait a minute. Yeah, he see his son that morning. But when it's time for him to get out of school, he don't see him. So he spent time with his son and all that stuff still. So he basically was like, if it weren't for his son, she would just have to figure it out. And in my mind, I'm like, okay. So he told me he gonna give her a couple of more weeks and then she gonna have to figure it out. And I was like, now you gonna let her stay as long as she want to stay. And he was like, man, I don't know about all that. And she getting on my nerves. And I, being petty and being serious at the same time, I was like, oh, anytime he say anything to me that goes towards the sexual connection and all that stuff, I'd be like, I don't understand why you saying this to me when you have in-house box. I love saying in-house box to people. You have in-house box. So all you got to do is turn over and get you some of that, right? So anytime I would say that, he wouldn't say nothing else to me through text messages, right? So when we were talking on the phone the other day, I said something about in-house box, and he was like, man, ain't no in-house box. And like I suspected, I'm trying to figure out, okay, this heifer to move back in. Okay, so what's she sleeping on? Because you haven't bought another bed yet. So he's still sleeping on the couch, right? He told me that she did bring some stuff. Because I said, what did she do? Did she bring some stuff that she had, took from you? That she put in storage? She was like, yeah, actually. I was like, girl, you took stuff. You took all this stuff. You ain't had no place to go. But to be petty and spiteful, you took stuff that wasn't even yours. And then when your son go over to visit your daddy, he ain't got nothing but the couch to sit on because you took everything else. Like, I can't. Anyway, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, if you are going to take stuff, have somewhere to take it. Like, that didn't even make no sense. So anyway, I don't know. I'm still not here for it. Like, she need to figure it out. Then you got other relatives. Why all your relatives coming over here? Ain't nobody got nowhere to stay. Don't none of y'all got nowhere to stay, but y'all loading up and coming over here to the United States, ain't it? For what? For what? I think she's Dominican. I think she's Dominican. So they coming over from a DR and doing the most and ain't got nowhere to stay. Like, why y'all loading up? And then the grandmama house ain't a feasible situation. Like, you have nowhere to stay. None of y'all have anywhere to stay. It's ridiculous. So anyway, but yeah, he was like, we ain't doing nothing. He said it's been so tense that she can look at him, and he said he has noticed that she'll look at him and she be looking kind of scared because it's like he already is frustrated because she at the house. He don't want her there. But out of the sheer kindness of his heart, because that's his child's mother, and the son is there, that's the only reason why he's been allowing her to stay. So I'm like, child, ooh, Lord, I won't want no parts of it. So yeah, but he said he been volunteering. He gonna be volunteering for work because he said. I was like, okay, so are you doing this to like catch back up on stuff so you can catch your savings account back up? Because he wanted to like have it in there to, for a rainy day, but he had to dip into it and pay for all that stuff for his mama. So he was like, I mean, both. I want to just be able to be out the house to be away from her, and I want to be able to make sure that my account is back where it need to be. I was like, okay. So, he has money in the bank, but he don't want to touch certain money at all. So I'm like, okay, his bills are still being paid, like he's not behind and all that. So it's nothing like that. So yeah, he just eventually told me that he was he was glad that I picked up because he needed to vent, and I'm the only person that he can talk to. Everybody else around him, it just be draining him, and he just cannot stand being around nobody, including his daddy and his siblings and all that stuff. I'm like, golly. He was like, man, forget all of them. I was like, no, that is so terrible. Like, I don't know. It's a mess. So, I don't know. I don't know what to tell. I don't really know what to say. But you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna never sit up here and lie to y'all. I do still like him. I'm trying not to like him. And I straight up, y'all don't know me. Like, I'm the type of person, I will tell you. I ain't got to the point in my life, I'm like, I'm getting older. Ain't nobody got time for let me, leave little breadcrumbs and they figure it out or something like that. No, I'm finna just straight up tell you, I like you. And all that or whatever, right? So anyway, I had told him, I said, why are you so fine? Like, this don't even make no sense. Like, I will tell you if you fine to me. And every now and again I ask him, why is he so fine? Like, he tells me all the time how good I look to him. I don't know what he's looking at. But anyway, I tell him all the time how fine he is. I'm not trying to boost his head up, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know what it was. I thought of a time when he had like just gotten a clean cut, and he's bald, so he had like had his goatee and stuff like line trimmed up and all that stuff. The little facial hair that he does keep on his face, he had all, like, he was clean shaven. He looked really nice. And he smelled good too. I was like, oh my gosh, you got to stop. So he felt some type of way. He feels some type of way whenever I tell him that he looked nice or whatever. So I'm like, well, at least he feel good. I'm glad he talking to me and actually being a little consistent right now. It's a little suspicious. I don't know about all that, but I'm glad that he is talking because of everything that, you know, happened. I can't imagine. I really can't. So yeah. Oh yeah, but like I was telling y'all know I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. He fine. The sexual chemistry is there. All the chemistry is there, really. And it be taking everything in me. Y'all don't understand how hard it is. I mean, it'd be so hard. It'd be so hard for me to just it's, y'all don't understand the way he talks to me and the way he handles me, like in person mainly. It's everything that I desire and more. Like I don't need a lot. I don't want a lot. And it's like he says everything that I've always wanted a man to say to me. And it's just so nice. It's so sweet. And I just be wanting to hug. I just be wanting, you know, I be wanting the bare minimum, and people don't even be wanting to do that. And so, like, he be giving me those things, and I be like, oh, okay, thank you, or whatever, right? But I don't even have to ask him. But like I said before, I don't think that it's gonna work, and I'm gonna have that conversation with him. It's gonna hurt his feelings, I'm sure, because I'm very descriptive when I'm explaining to you why I don't think something gonna work. He gonna be in his feelings. And at the same time, I think that he might even try to be like, well, I can change this, that, and the other. No, I don't want you to change yourself for me. Because one thing, you might not even be consistent with it. So why would I sit up there and put my hopes and dreams into you, and then you did just enough to get the ring on my finger, and now you want to knock me up? Because, child, he really think he going to get a little girl out of me. He ain't never been able to procreate and have no girl. Your mama and them only had all boys, if I'm not mistaken. Like, y'all just make boys at this point. I don't know. So he just think he gonna be able to get a little girl out of me. And I'm like, sir, I don't even know if I'm gonna be having no babies sooner than later. Like, my eggs, almost all of my eggs are gone. So I don't know what to tell you. But I am gonna be taking that baby boom and all the other stuff. So we'll see. But like I told y'all the other day, by the time I turn 42, if I ain't got it, I ain't getting it. Anyway, I bored y'all long enough. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Hopefully y'all are having a good day. I'll see y'all later. Bye.